Hey everybody, Brooke Sann here. This is my special guest, my sweet husband, Jeffrey.
Hi.
I thought it'd be fun to bring him on today because today we are talking about how to talk to your husband. And I thought it'd be fun to have a little insight from the husband himself. So last night was a rough night in the Sann household. I came home from work and there were dishes in the sink. There were backpacks that were still out that were supposed to be hung up. What else? What else happened last night? Oh, I was just on fire. I was finding a lot of things going wrong in my household last night. And I came to the realization that as much as I've told you, life is 50-50, so is marriage. Half the time I am deeply in love with this sweet man, and half the time I'm so annoyed with him. And that is the human experience in a relationship. Have you had that experience, honey?
Absolutely. I'm not sure if those 50-50s line up perfectly, but something like that.
Okay, we'll take it. Well, it's a good thing to realize that relationships are 50-50, believe it or not. So, how to talk to your husband. Let's jump right in. This all depends on, I want to start with this. This all depends on how we feel about our husband. And our relationship is made up of what?
Our thoughts and ideas of how we feel about somebody.
That's right. So our thoughts make up our relationship. It's just a compilation of many, many thoughts. So you might have created a relationship of, I'm so frustrated with him. He's so annoying. He doesn't ever do what I ask him to do, whatever it might be. That might be what your relationship is. It is a compilation of thoughts about a person. So depending on how we feel about our spouse is going to determine how we show up as a spouse. So what happens when you come home cranky, honey?
When I come home cranky or when you come home cranky?
What about when we both come home cranky?
Well, it's funny. You mentioned yesterday when things weren't probably going the way you wanted them to.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to say anything. I could tell. I could sense it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've been together quite a while, so we know. But it's almost in the air how you feel at that moment. So I knew how you felt before you even said anything.
Maybe next class we can do how to talk to your wife. You have some great insight on that, it sounds like.
I got a couple pointers for you guys.
We'll send that to all your husbands next week. Anyways, so why do we need to talk to each other? Last night, I came home and I had a lot of negative thoughts and I was feeling very critical. I was thinking, man, he didn't do this. He didn't do that. Why didn't he have the kids put their book bags away before they watch shows? Did you know I was thinking that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
So I was thinking that, and I was feeling lots of things, but I was feeling annoyed, and it wasn't because of what he did, because the circumstance is neutral. Another house that could have been the same situation, and the wife could have come home, and she wouldn't have thought anything of it. She might have thought, man, it's so nice that my husband took care of the kids all afternoon and all evening, right? So it could be the same circumstances and two different thoughts. So this is talking about reminding us of this idea that we create stories in our head, right? I might have created this elaborate story. Actually, I kind of did. Like, he doesn't ever follow through. He doesn't do what I ask him to do. I set up these job lists and he doesn't do them.
There's pictures. I don't even have to read. There are pictures on the list.
There are too. So, right, I could have created this big elaborate story, right? And that doesn't serve me. Thinking that he's doing it all wrong, he never follows through, he never listens, that does not serve me. Okay? So we could flip it right around. I could have come home at a different moment and felt completely different because of my thoughts and what I was thinking. So we need to talk to each other because we need to vocalize how we're feeling. Even if we know we are in the wrong, even though I know my thoughts are not serving me, this isn't helpful, but I need to at least communicate. I'm just feeling annoyed right now. Would that have been helpful?
Yeah, I think it would have been. Um,
Because what happened last night? What did I do?
you went to bed.
I did. I just go to bed. So why do we need to talk to each other? Or what happens when we don't talk to each other? Not great things. Because I just went to bed feeling annoyed and we didn't talk. So we didn't give ourselves that time to kind of communicate, to kind of rebuild, refresh, restart. What?
Nothing.
Okay. So what was I saying?
You were talking about why it's important to communicate with each other.
Oh,
We
yeah.
didn't have that chance to, talk about what our day was like, or communicate what we experienced that day, or perhaps you experienced your frustration.
Right.
Expressed that.
Yeah, because I normally work 12-hour shifts and I come home and are we gonna talk about something else?
Sure.
Wait, let me finish this. I love coming home after my 12-hour shifts because Jeff normally comes out at the island. I'm normally eating leftover chicken nuggets or whatever scraps I can find. And I love having that time to communicate with him. But when I'm annoyed, it doesn't really serve us. It's not really a great conversation when I show up annoyed. Yeah. Or sometimes you're annoyed. When the kids are still up and you told them to go to bed like an hour ago, sometimes you're still annoyed. Anyways, so we want to communicate from a place of love, from a place of open mind where we can really express how we're feeling and thinking and then work together because we're a partnership, we're a team. We're always trying to work together. So let's talk about some of the other things that happens when we don't communicate. What happens when we don't communicate?
Well, there's no exchange of emotion or feeling of information. I don't know. You want to talk about this? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, let's tell them what happened at Aldi's today.
Well, at Aldi's, I didn't have a quarter to get a shopping cart, so I had to leave and go to a different grocery store. But
you're a second-class citizen.
I was filling out, or I was going through the shopping list that I was texted, and it said cranberries, and so I bought some cranberries, fresh cranberries, and brought those home. And we've never bought fresh. Now that I think about it, I've never bought fresh cranberries in my life. But that's exactly what it said on the list, and it was kind of in between like carrots and green beans. So I assumed she wanted fresh cranberries, when really she wanted dried cranberries
for my salad.
So
that's what happens when we don't communicate. You end up with fresh cranberries. I don't even know what to do with fresh cranberries. Thanksgiving's over. Do you have any good ideas? Send them to me. Okay, so what happens when we don't? Miscommunication, so little mistakes happen.
No communication.
No communication, like me going to bed last night. No.
How long can a relationship last with no communication like that?
I don't know. I've never tried that. It's a good question. Well, a lot of times, again, when no communication is going on, that's when we're creating a lot of stories, right? We might be thinking what the other person's thinking. We might think, they don't care about me. They're on their phone all the time. They don't ever talk to me. But what they're doing, we can't control them. All we can control is what we're thinking, how we're feeling, and how we want to show up for our partner. So in the weeks to come, I'm going to do a segment on how to love a cranky man.
I don't know who that is.
I really want to jump into this because sometimes as women, we think that our spouse should be a certain way. He should be engaged. He should ask us about our day. He should, show more interest. He should notice my hair, right? We have this manual of how our spouse should behave. And What I'm telling you is that what they do doesn't matter. You can love someone, you can care for somebody, and they don't have to change at all. Right?
Right.
Whether he's cranky or not, whether he's with his phone or not, I can love him right where he is. And that's a beautiful thing. So let's move into how to talk to each other. So we talked about how we want to come from a place of love when we're communicating, but that isn't always the case. Sometimes we're frustrated, sometimes we're annoyed. So when we were first married, I did a lot of you. You should have done this, you should have done that. I wish you did this. I really had no idea how to talk to him. When I started using I feel statements, so I'm feeling frustrated because I wanted dried cranberries, for example. It's a way for me to kind of make a statement in a general and neutral way without pointing fingers, blaming him or whatever. But we still have a lot of things we have to communicate with parenting, with finances, with intimacy, everything. You have to be able to communicate, but how we communicate and coming from a place of love really makes all the difference.
I think I statements are great because they recognize that our emotions are our own emotions and not emotions that are the result of somebody else's behavior or lack of behavior, whatever it might be.
That's a good point. Yeah, taking kind of initiative for our own emotions, for sure. Well, my last thought is expectations versus reality. How to talk to your husband. Sometimes it doesn't go the way we think it's going to go in our head. Sometimes things don't look the way we think they're going to, and that's okay. We have to kind of embrace this 50-50 relationship that we have, right? Like half the time we're annoyed with each other and mad at each other, and the other half we're deeply, madly in love with each other. And that is the human experience in a relationship sense. That is the whole picture. And we have to embrace all parts of it and understand that even the bad parts, even the negative parts, it's part of the bigger picture. It's what we signed up for when we got married. We've been together for 15 years, I guess.
Been married 11 years.
No, 12. 20, okay, 11 and a half. 11 and a half. Oh, he's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
Did we get that on? Was that recorded?
Anyways, yeah, we've been together a long time, and I'm in it for the long haul. There's going to be a lot more obstacles we're going to jump through. There's going to be a lot more times I come home annoyed and go to bed without talking and all those things, but we both signed up for it, right?
We did.
You're in?
I'm in.
Anyways, I hope you ladies enjoyed this video, and maybe we'll bring Jeff back for another couple videos. But it was great to talk to you.
Thanks for having me, Brooke.
All right, ladies, we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Bye.